Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another session of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night, in the Camarilla venue. Tonight we find Viktor Kotler walking up northeast Harlem, as is so common for the Kindred to do these days, and heading towards a door that I'm sure everybody who watches this sort of thing knows by now, the coal cellar. Instead of going down the stairs as he usually does, though, when the bouncer sees him, he steps aside because Victor's a known face and gestures towards the door marked private. Victor's been told to head inside and lock the door behind him and then walk upstairs.
Victor, having left both his retainer and his newest acquisition back at the car. The newest acquisition is learning well. It's a man of the streets. Not something that he is used to, but well, with a little stint with Elena, he did have to improvise a little bit, and he apparently has a new girl now. Oops. Well, but he will just go through the door and make sure to sort of announce himself by just tapping his cane with every step he takes. So Limey knows he's coming.
From through the door, you can hear faintly, just mixed with the music, you can hear it sounds like, it's not the jazz you usually hear in the club, because it's not as avant-garde. It sounds like quite mournful vocals, female vocals, in a very old style, like Nina Simone or Ella Fitzgerald, someone like that. But I assume you just open the door as was said and head on up. Cool. The door is actually, you find there's a lot of locks on the door, and there's a key in one side. That's like the heavy main lock. Then you've got like two latches and a big heavy bolt across the door. It looks like a little bit of paranoia has gone into this door. And as you lock them, the music seems to be coming from upstairs.
I'm assuming that the locks are on the inside of the door, not the outside.
Sorry?
I'm assuming the locks are on the inside of the door, not the outside.
Yeah, on the inside of the door.
Alright. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, keeping someone out, not in.
Yeah.
He just closes the door behind him, doesn't lock it, because why would he? And makes his way further up. Limey, are you there?
You don't hear anything, but the music seems quite loud in here. And it's getting like you recognise it. It's Strange Fruit. If you're into jazz at all, Strange Fruit was quite a moving song that was in reference to lynching. It's notably one of the more mournful songs of this genre. But yeah, the music plays from upstairs. What you've got in front, you're in like a little hallway right now with like a dim electric light. It smells of cannabis in here.
Intriguing. As he sort of looks in his bag, the various bottles that he has inside. And decides to just follow the music, because hopefully he's there.
Okay. As you go upstairs, you realize it's the hallway that you first enter. It's quite a bleak little place, and you think that maybe that was the. It's kind of like there's a few little living areas, kind of like a kitchen and stuff down here, and a bathroom and that kind of thing. You get the feeling as you head upstairs and you see a few posters framed on the walls that this is the actual living space on the floor you're going up. It still reeks of cannabis. It's not like being smoked. It smells like there's just a lot of it somewhere in this apartment. and it's as you get in, the decor's quite it's very beatnik. Lots of low couches and that kind of thing. Lots of posters on the walls from jazz gigs from like the '60s that you've got no idea about, really obscure little names. And as you head into the living room proper, you see Limey first of all, sat on a low couch, uh, sort of sort of staring in on himself, sort of staring down, looking into his hands with a cigarette kind of burned down to the end. It all seems very dramatic. It's very Bruges. And but the decor is once again very beatnik. There's a vinyl player in the corner, a very good vinyl player that you can hear the music coming from.
Since Limey hadn't responded before and seems to be a little bit out of it at the moment, Victor will instead just gently walk towards the gramophone, the vinyl player, and turn down the volume ever so slightly.
So, his eyes open and he looks up at you. Sorry, Victor, the time must have run away with me.
That's alright, Limey. It's alright. And he puts his bag. Oh, it's more of a sort of like a briefcase that's padded as he opens it up. Produces a single line and a single bottle. What are you in the mood for tonight? I can have male, female. Ah! I have a keen nose, you see. And it produces one. Male, 25 to 30. Had smoked a little bit of marijuana. Brown hair. No, black hair. Brown face, yes. Yeah, Hispanic, probably.
He sort of looks at you and shakes it and just yeah. Thanks, Victor. And
Well, that's the first one. We can have another later.
he seems to he looks around himself and then he walks over to the cabinet. There's like an old drinks cabinet with a glass front, and he sort of pulls out a tumbler and he sets it down for himself, and reaches for the bottle before he looks at you, and then seems to remember that there's another person here too, and he goes over and gets another glass and he puts it on the table. You get a feeling that he doesn't enjoy company very often.
Well, not up here, most likely.
He sort of says, "Please, take a seat."
Of course.
It's a low kind of Art Deco kind of affair. Or there's a chaise longue that you can sit on, but either way, they're in a ring around this coffee table.
Right. He first uncorks the bottle, and you can, well, of course, immediately the smell of this particular blood reaches your nose, and it smells fresh, as though it's fresh from the vein, as it always does with this. And he'll just pull you on and pour himself. Put the cork back in. And sits down. So, how have you been, Lime?
Business as usual. You don't have to make an empathy roll to see that he's sidestepping the issue a little bit. He's sort of there's something going on there if you would look deeper, but he sort of says this business with Circus Nox has got me in a bit of a pickle.
Yes, I've been informed that they are traveling kindred of some sort.
Yeah, they are. I forget one at the show. Traveling Kindred show. They put on a show which is hardly believable, but gets away with the idea that there's a lot of illusions behind it.
Hmm.
That's not why I'm worried. You saw that newspaper article, the runaway boy.
Two of
They,
them, yes.
they both rolled into town with Circus Nox. They're being held here, investigating. I don't have that much pull in the police force to keep the investigation on hold. I don't.
No, me neither. No, not myself. But it is troublesome, at the very least, that this new circus rolls into town, and all of a sudden, people die, and they are somehow intertwined.
They were brought here, and I told them if they kept it on the down low. He picks the drink up, and you see his hands tense around the glass, like he's controlling himself, like sort of controlling this Bruges blood in his veins. He sort of takes a long swig and puts it down before lighting a cigarette. And, you know, I told him keep it on the down low. I said to him, they behaved. I dug it. They could stay in this city. They fucked up. They brought the cops down on him. The masquerade is hanging on by a thread as it is. What this angel in the Bronx. Now the cops are getting involved in Circus Nox. Not on my fucking watch.
No, and as a newly appointed sheriff, I'm quite sure you want to stop this particular thing before it spreads too far.
Exactly. But that's the thing. I don't have. I mean, I've got a copper in Harlem. I've got a boy in the Bronx. I know a couple of the faces on the beat, but this, I can't stop this investigation. The boy's been seen going into town. We need to somehow get rid of him. Have the performers say that he's fled. You know,
Uh,
he ran off in the night. Show him a. We need to fabricate a scene, makes it look like a desertion. And if they're not going to let him go, we need to make him go.
I do not know too much about this Circus Nox. Perhaps you can tell me a bit more. You seem to know more about them than I do.
So that's the problem. A bunch of I don't know, death defiers, it would seem. They perform athletic and showman feats. It's almost impossible without application of our blood or some other means. But don't get me wrong, it looked like a very, very well put together circus. Like all of the acts look like they could be illusions. They do, but they're all tough. All the illusions are real. That's the issue. We're not dealing with a regular group of kindred here, some wandering group of anarchs. I mean, these guys are professional and they've been hounded for years. They used to get hounded out of town. I thought I'd show a little leniency, thought it'd all be groovy between us, we could show a little love, but no. People are determined to take the piss, Victor.
Hmm. Some people seem to think that the Camarilla is something they can easily push over. Yes.
No. Well, this is the case. I think we could deal with them, Circus Nox. We could. There's
Okay.
one problem. Our muscle, and I hate to say it, but she is our muscle. She's the fist of this five. Ghost. We turn on our mates, she's going to turn on us. And she's my friend, but I can't have her obstructing me on this. I need her on my side or out of the way.
Uh,
Okay?
I beg your pardon.
On my side or out of the way. I'm not talking about anything permanent. She's my friend, of course I'm not.
No, but why would she?
She got history with him.
Okay. So, just so I know what you're saying is that I am not misinterpreting anything. You're saying she's an anarch.
She's not an anarch. No, not yet. Not confirmed.
She sympathizes then.
She sympathises, brother. She's a bruiser. The fact of the matter is, half of us sympathise. There's one thing to sympathise, and there's another thing entirely. For her to have a personal stake in all this, which she does. And I just know that she's going to be on their side if this all turns. We need to run these clowns out of the city. We're going to have to run them out of the city. We're going to have to go stop it.
Okay. Okay. I understand. But she is the muscle. You are correct in that particular assumption. So we should not be too forceful in the matter. We need to perhaps investigate this ourselves. Go to this Circus Nox, talk to the people there, find out more about this boy, this man that apparently had a murder on his hands. Hear his story. If he is innocent, perhaps we can get them out of town sooner.
It's not his innocence that worries me. It pains me to say that. It's that innocent or not, the old Bill's going to come after him. If he goes on the run, we need him to know that he's gone on the run. We need Circus Nox to play along.
Yes. Correct.
So what do you think? You're a clever man, Viktor.
If I know anything about these circus people, these freaks, they are a tight-knit family. They will always protect their own, and they will make sure nothing bad happens to them. So, if we are able to convince them that it is in their best interest to let the law enforcement think this Andrew Goldberg is ran away, then good. That should help in the matter. But we'll need to perhaps convince them. And talking to anarchs is probably not my strong suit. There is a big ideological difference.
See, that's the thing. I think we might need to talk to Mr. Camarilla. Now, hear me out. I'll go in there as a friend. I just know it. That Mordecai girl, she throws around dominating presents like nobody's business. We're going to end up wound around their fingers. I'm afraid if we go in there friendly and gently advise them, then they're not going to take the message. Part of me thinks maybe we walk in, couple of ghouls, pack out our numbers a little, make ourselves look a bit tasty, you think? Go in there, say this man's had a blood hunt declared on his head. He needs to get out of town, and they need to cover for it. or he dies.
Well, we can of course press the matter that being anarchs, they do not. The traditions other than the masquerade do not apply to them. Which means each and every member of them is, well, free game to a certain degree. We do not need our elders' blessing to destroy an anarch. Well, it would be bad for business or bad for relationships, perhaps, but unlike the Camarilla, they are not protected under our traditions.
Perhaps a gentle reminder of this when we have a quiet conversation with them in their tent.
And of course, we can remind them of the fact of the other tradition of domain. For this is the prince's domain. This is the seneschal's domain. This is the Camarilla's domain. They are staying here under our grace, back with our particular grace, and you forfeit our hospitality and bear the consequence.
Exactly. Hospitality being a two-way street. He tosses the hat down and he kind of pulls a packet of cigarettes from his pocket before going like, nah. Throws it down on the side before pulling out like quite a big bag of weed from under the sofa, and he starts rolling one. He says, you know, old habits die hard and all that.
And Victor just looks at him, shrugs, reaches over to his briefcase, gets out another one. 40-year-old woman, Asian. It's a very refined taste, this one, I'm quite sure. As he'll pop the cork and pour you one, pour himself one.
Limey raises his glass to Victor. So we're in agreement then on that.
Yes, we are in agreement. Something needs to be done.
Now, I'm going to talk to Ghost. Tell her what's what. The purse.
Okay. Would you like me to be present for this particular conversation?
He kind of seems to deliberate for a second. I'm not sure about that, Victor.
I can be there in the shadows, if need be.
In the shadows.
Yes. Invisible. Safety. I would not want one of my coterie members, my coterie mates, to... If what you're saying is correct, that she has a very strong tie to the Circus Nox, she might... well, are prone to their emotions. She might fall to her particular emotions.
That's the real.
If that is the case, we need someone there perhaps to stop it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to go in there all heavy-handed. Ghost is my friend.
Of
And who
course.
knows? She might be, I don't know, easier to our perspective. Maybe she can be convinced, but
I hope.
I need to have her on my side. And if this meeting goes otherwise, and she's more in with Circus than she is in with us, we're gonna have to have another conversation regarding how we might keep her out of the loop in our dealings with the Circus.
Don't worry about it, Lemmy. If that is the case, by the time we get to that particular bridge, we will cross it. There is no need for us to wonder about it before knowing for certain.
Fine. Okay. Victor, but before we go, I know Ghost ain't exactly the easiest person to get on with. I can dig that. But she's sensitive and she's a good girl deep down. Underneath all that, she's got a heart. I know this is a real Bruges thing to say, but she is my friend, and whatever you hear regarding Circus, please endeavour to keep it to yourself. Don't make judgments on her just for following her heart, man. Because I can dig the love.
I'm following your particular your your way, Lemmy. Your lead. Of course. I will refrain from making snap judgment calls.
Fine. I'm gonna give her a bell, and then I'm gonna head round there.
Good.
He raises the glass and tips it back down his neck, before smiling at Victor. Just be off then. He stands up and you see him sort of walk over to sort of his door. He sort of puts a coat on, reaches around in the pocket. You can tell he's kind of feeling around for a gun, for what's in there. He seems satisfied. Before he he sort of gestures to Victor towards the door. He says, "Shall we?"
Victor will put the two bottles back in the briefcase, snaps it shut, holds it in his hand, and walks out the door before Limey.
Limey looks around the apartment one last time before turning around, closing the door, and following Victor down the stairs. The album plays out, and you hear that bump of the needle hitting the record after it's ended. And on that silent scene with Limey and Victor wandering into the night is where we'll leave it for now. Thank you, Bram, for playing. Thank you, people, for watching. Good night, everyone.